it was just a couple of years ago that we were still in a state where we were hemorrhaging police officers. More and more were leaving every single month. And we had a very real concern as to whether we were going to be able to respond with the kind of service that the residents of our city deserve. Now, after a couple of years, after a whole lot of work, after a campaign to get new police officers and really affirmative work to go out into the communities throughout Minneapolis and beyond, those numbers are rising, and we just saw the biggest recruit class that we have seen in years. With 33 new officers between recruits and laterals. What's clear is that our Minneapolis Police Department is coming back in a big way, and for years people have talked about wanting to see a police department that reflected the community. In other words, one that's beautifully diverse and cares deeply about our city. I'm so proud to say that it's happening. The Minneapolis Police Department is coming back, recruiting is up. That trajectory continues to increase every single year, and we want to keep that momentum going. I want to thank our Chief Hara. I want to thank the incredible recruits that have, on their own volition, decided to step up to say, I want to protect and serve our communities. And they're doing it because they want to be part of the change. They're doing it because they want to get in at this very grassroots level to be an example for so many others to follow. Again, a couple years ago, we were in a difficult spot. Now, it's coming back in a big way.
Yep.
Chief?
No, for most of the time that I had been the police chief over the last 3 years, we were not graduating enough recruits to keep pace with attrition. And so month after month, the department that was already diminished kept getting smaller. And we were not on the trajectory to have a group so large tonight. And I just want to say thank you to the mayor for stepping in, for changing a lot of the processes and the bureaucracy with bringing officers on. And it's because of what we were able to do differently and be more aggressive and assertive, recruiting officers, particularly officers from the city, and getting them through the process sooner, hiring them as interns and doing things differently so that we weren't losing so many. Because we were definitely not on pace to have a class this large. And so thank you, Mayor, for making this possible.
Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
My name is Officer Attrition, and it's Artishon. I'm excited to report that we just finished the 17-week academy as of today. And something that resonated with me is our cadre said that we started as one and now we finish as a team. And going through this process just reinforced our commitment to work as a team, to collaborate with the community and partner with them to make a difference in the city of Minneapolis.
Any questions? What were those recruiting like? Obviously, you know, a lot has changed, you say. It's very diverse, numbers are going up.
That's right.
What have you guys been doing to sort of get those numbers up to recruit?
Well, as I said, for years people have talked about wanting to see a police department that reflected the community. They wanted to see officers that live in and or from Minneapolis. That's happening. A lot of it happens when you do the affirmative work to actually go out into these communities. You express the values that we have as a Minneapolis Police Department around compassion and protecting and serving and courage. People also want to get in at the ground level right now. They understand that something under this chief, under this police department, something special is happening. And if they see a long arc to their career trajectory as a police officer, now is the right time to start at Minneapolis because we're doing something special. We're doing something different, and people recognize that.
So the question was, what has changed to make this possible? The bottom line is the mayor has supported literally every single thing I've asked for to get this done. The majority of the officers that were sworn in today are cadets. And we were able to add an additional cadet class last year and hire them sooner, send them to for their training in college sooner. We were able to hire people as interns before their community service officer program began or their recruit class began. We were able to contact people more often and bring them in, and really just break down a lot of the barriers that took things so long. And that's because the mayor has literally said yes to everything that we have asked for to get this done. And this is the result of it tonight.
Did you specifically reach out to certain communities? It was a very diverse group of new officers.
Great.
And from a lot of, and also the last class I don't think had any women graduating in it. And just was that something you purposefully, sought out while you were seeking?
It's definitely intentional. The majority, I think it's 60% of everyone we've hired this year is people of color. It's about a third African American, and if you were at the ceremony inside, it's from people from countries all over the world, and that is continuing. The mayor and I welcomed 2 weeks ago, welcomed a class of 65 new cadets and community service officers, and it's the same thing. It's incredibly diverse every way you look at it, and it's a lot of people, like this officer here, that are from the city as well, or that grew up in the city, or that came here after being born in a different country around the world.
Yeah, and so does this outpace the attrition, or how does this look?
This now outpaces the attrition. We're up by about 100 in terms of attrition versus people hired for sworn positions. The trouble is the delay. So the cadets have to go to college for a couple of months before they go to the academy. The community service officers have to go for their associate's degree first. So there is a lag time, but you're seeing the results of that tonight. The majority of the time, we were graduating classes of 10 or 12 officers, and that's different now.
What you're seeing is the pipeline is now filled. So whether that's cadets or community service officers, it's not just the 33 that we saw come on board today. It's also hundreds more that are going to be joining on through as community service officers and beyond.
And is it also for the future, will this continue, or is this just a one-time thing you think?
It's continuing.
It's going to continue. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah,
Look, we need to be hiring hundreds more officers to not just get to where it's required by the charter, but we need to be able to respond to issues in the city in a proactive way. I want people to know their beat officer on the street so that you know that, from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, for example, your officer is John. And you know him by name, and you've built out a relationship with him. That's the kind of dynamic that we're looking for.
How soon until they get into the field and start working?
When do you start in the field? When's your first day?
After next week.
Okay.
Yep, I have CIT next week, and then I'll be starting after that.
Okay.
Some others in my class, they're starting as early as Sunday of next week.
We need them.
In terms of officers who leave, is there anything you say just like about what the majority is, whether it's retirement or do they have difficulties with the job and what it provides? Like what are you seeing about most people leave?
So the attrition here is typically about 40 members a year. I think it's around 34 at this point. The overwhelming majority is through the normal retirement process, regular attrition, but occasionally there are some resignations for various reasons, and people that are involuntarily separated.
Yeah, do you know what the total is now for sworn officers with this, or is this something that would you have to look that up?
This group, because they were post eligible, everyone here was already included in our sworn numbers, so it's somewhere around about 605, I think. But there's another group of about 25 recruits starting the academy in 2 weeks, and they will be, once they are post eligible, they're added to that number. So it'll go out by about 2 dozen.
I mean, and to be at a place where we're looking at 630, whereas we were previously in the low to mid 500s, that's a drastic difference. I mean, we were truly staring down the barrel of massive attrition to the point where just doing the basic service was going to be really hard. We're not looking at that anymore. The numbers are going up.
Can you just talk about the timing of this coming a few weeks after the Annunciation shooting, and just like anything, Chief, you can say just about what that was like for those officers going through that, and the PTSD or anything like that?
Yeah, well, there were dozens of officers that were affected, and everyone processes this stuff differently. So a number of officers took some time off of work, whether that's one day or a couple of days. We're building up a pretty robust health and wellness unit that actually responded to the scene that day very quickly. We have a psychologist on staff, and we have a variety of mental health and crisis services, counseling services available. So I know for a couple, it's been very difficult, and that's normal because we are humans. And these officers did not just experience that trauma that day, they had experienced all of the traumas that they have seen in this city day after day throughout the course of their career. And they're people, so they're dealing with parents who are elderly, dying. They're dealing with children that have trouble in school. I'm sure there's, just like everybody else in life, there's some who are having trouble in their marriage. So it's complex.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful everyone so far has gotten through so well as they have.